Hey guys, it's lovely to have your company back here on my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel, and I hope you're ready for, well, another tutorial. Now this is off the back of something that I posted, well, I'm not going to say when because it purely depends as to when you've seen it, and that was the Christmas crackers. Now it's not handmade Christmas crackers with our cracker die, it is actually ones that I had pre-bought, which will tell you all about that just in a moment or two, because certainly over the last few days, the last few weeks, I've had some brand new subscribers, as I always do each day, which is lovely. If you are brand new here, then it's lovely to, of course, have you here on my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel, whereas everything's evolving around Crafter's Companion. What I like to do most of the time is use older Crafter's Companion stuff. Sometimes I'll use some of the new stuff, and then what a lot of you guys love it is when I actually use old and new together and show you how to cross them together. So that's what we're going to do most of the time when it comes to, of course, my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel. But yes, I will always tell you in the description as to what it is that we're going to be making. Now this one, of course, is all about the crackers. So what I done was, if you guys remember, so we're just going to go overhead here for you to see here. If you guys remember, we had the guys from Wilsow, so we had Willow. So remember they done the plantable children's books where they had seeds within the front page and the back pages. Well, what they've done this year is they've come out with their plantable crackers. Now you can get them depending, of course, when you're watching this tutorial. If you're watching it in the time period as when I post this, you will find that these are available probably on Wilsow's website if they've got one, but certainly QVC UK. So I will link it in the description. This is where I got my crackers. Now ignore the personalisation when it comes to the letters there, ignore them, because what they are these. So these are blank crackers. You do get a little, you get a couple of little things inside them, but all of these, once you take all of these ribbons off, these, the crackers, these are plantable. You've got seeds in the actual cardstock there. So it is so good for the environment, and so lovely to be able to plant your crackers afterwards. Now when it comes to Christmas crackers, many of you will know each year what I usually do is I will tend to buy blank crackers. So either Hobbycraft in the UK or Amazon, or where it's like a cracker making set, a full size set cracker set. Now of course we've got our die this year that you could be using that, slightly smaller than a standard size cracker, hence why I would still of course go and make my or decorate larger handmade cracker sets. You can go into the stores as well. You can get the little pulleys and that, the little snappers. You could be getting a hold of them, and you can still pop them inside, which I'm going to be doing as well. I just need to purchase them. And then of course hats and jokes and little things, because what my mum does is she'll put a little gift or a lottery ticket inside, and then of course pulling a cracker means they're going to get that. But if she's doing a specific gift, it's personalised. Usually I put the name. This year all that I've done that you can see here is popped the initial, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Posted these, also done one for Clemmy, but you guys were saying yes, I really would like to see how you've made them, Craig. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do two of them. So I've got two here, but what I'm also going to do as well, and I always do this, well I do these for the Christmas table, and that is just little name placement settings. Now we've had the same ones for years. I made them years ago and we've still got the same one. So I thought this year what I'm going to do for our family Christmas table, I'm going to make new ones. Instead of the name again, just the initial, and then of course they're going to match with the cracker. So you've got Craig. We need to have one for Clemmy, of course, although she doesn't sit at the table, you know, she's still going to get her own name placement. You've then got my stepdad, John, you've then got my mum, Denise, and then you've got my brother, Paul, which is exactly the same here. You're going to have stepdad, John, my mum, Denise, me, and then of course we've got my brother, Paul. So that's what we're going to do. We'll do two, because they're not time consuming individually. So we'll do a few of these and we'll do one of those as well. So I'm going to move that to the side. Now I do have Basil Basic cardstock underneath, because I do have my Crafter's Companion card, but I wanted, or I needed, like a deeper deeper green, and I know the green that I used was from Basil Basics. So I was just, before we'd done the countdown, I was just trying to find the kind of, well, the correct shade of green that I was needing. I'm not sure if it's going to be exact, but it's still, oh, perfect, it is in actual fact, it's exact. Perfect. Of course, so many of our collections, so many of our pads and that, we've got shades of green. But if you don't already know, I am still, and always have been since day one, a huge fan of Basil Basics. So let's take some cards. So I've got, now we're doing this for the cracker, I've got some red cardstock Crafter's Companion, I've got some green cardstock Crafter's Companion. I'm just getting some craft card. So grabbing some craft card, and then for, if I bring in cracker, for the little detail, the holly detail just there, that is where we're going to use the little holly from the shaker. The actual large holly itself, when it comes to the name placement, we're going to be using our Holly and Ivy sentiment set, and then, as I always do, our left fold alphabets, my favourite sized style font alphabets. I never use them within the left fold concept, I always chop them out individually. The other thing that we are, so we're going to be using, let's bring in, just leaning over, I'm going to go in with my nesting dies. What I'm also going to do as well is I'm going to link these. These are new nesting dies to the UK. Now we've not that long got a shipment back stateside. These were manufactured and produced exclusively for HSN, and we've got kind of like a surplus of stock which we've now got in the UK. These are cut and emboss nesting dies, so there's a way that you can emboss the edge which we'll show you. So I'm going to be using the oval ones. As I said, I will link these in the description because I'm sure they're all still in stock because we've not featured them yet on Crafters TV. So that's kind of our main ones that we're going to do. So let's start with our cracker here. So I'm going to bring in our nesting dies, the cut and emboss nesting dies, and then let's take, so I need red and I need this deep green and the craft cardstock. So let's get a hold of all of these bits, so I don't need that bit just yet. And then I'm going to take, let's take my dies here. So if I take these ones here, so what I'm going to do is, if I then move them out, there was a way to say it if I show you, but then I'm going to move them out the way. What we've got is, I keep moving my screen, what I've then got is, I'm going to then zoom in, excuse my arm, but if I zoom in, what we have got here, excuse me one sec. Sorry, I was just turning my device down because I've got a funny feeling it's going to be a little bit too loud, and then therefore it's not going to allow me to post this video on YouTube. What we've got is we've got the outer oval die edge, so normal nesting die edge, and then we've got an extra bit of metal here, and that's so you can then emboss it afterwards. So you're going to get that raised embossed detail should you wish to do that. So that is what all of those dies that I just showed you a moment ago are all about. So let's take this one. So I'm going to use the fourth one from that smaller centre, and that one we're going to do, look at that, I've just put hand cream on because I've been playing with cardstock so much lately the last few days, it's drying out my hands. Now if you don't have a geminate, because to emboss you would need, you think you would need your embossing mat, which of course you can do, Or if you've just got a smaller manual cutting machine, you don't have to have a embossing mat. I know I've showed you this in the past, but all that you need to do is just pop the die cut back in, take a small ball tool or your scoring tool, and then we're just going to push that all the way round. So we're going to push and we're just following that inner edge. Remember that inner edge, it's not a die edge, it's just an overlap of a piece of flat metal, so that when we turn it around, can we see, let's see how close we can get. Can you see that we've got that embossed edge on that inner section just here? See if I can tilt it a little bit more. You can just start to see, it's faint to you, but because I've pressed really quite hard, I can see it really, really clearly. So that's what those dies are going to give you. Now you can use them as standard nesting dies. You don't have to emboss them if you don't want to, but of course you've got that option. Now I don't think I need those dies again, so let's pop those ones through. Yes I do, in actual fact, because I'm doing 2 crackers. So I'm doing, because I've got 2 spare. I had originally done one for Clemmy, which gave me 1 spare, and then when I showed, or I messaged Mum and showed them to her, she was like, Craig, have you got a couple spare for, now not that any of my Mum's friends or that would tend to watch these, so I'm not going to say just in case, but she said, could you do 2 for me with the initials M and D? So that's exactly what I'm doing. M and D. That's a theme park here in the UK, or at least it was. Don't know if it still is. I've never been myself. I'm an Alton Towers guy. I have been to Thorpe Park in London, or is it just outside London? That's brilliant, but I've only been there the once, and I went with my friend Sean, who, for those that have followed me for a long time, know he is also a big Celine Dion fan. And we went one day and we also got tickets to one of Big Brother's celebrity eviction nights. So we got that same day as well. So that was a great day. That was a good few years ago, before I joined Crafter's Companion. So let's take now, so my screen, I keep knocking my screen and it's knocking it off my iPad. I'm hoping it doesn't disturb what you guys are seeing here. So let's go in now with our left fold alphabets. Now, if you've never seen these be used in the way that I use them, well, I'm going to show you. So let's take, as I said, we need M and we need D. So take the M, take the D. So we're going to do that in craft, and we're going to do it within this deep foliage green. And what's great is all of these will work within your Gemini Mini, including the name placements. Now the name placements I don't need for Mum, she doesn't need them, but I'm going to make a couple for you to see. So let's do M and D, and let's run that one through. So doing that in craft, and then we'll do it within the green. And because it is left fold, it stays in place, because the concept is it creates that stylish left fold opening, but I'm not wanting that. So let's take our deep green here. Again, that was from Basil Basics, but it could be any of your Crafter's Companion stuff. And you can still get Basil Basics, not easy in the UK, but I know obviously Basil Basics is under the umbrella of American Crafts now. But but I've always been a massive Basil Basics fan. And actually that's where my love of linen cardstock came from, because the early days, a lot of the Basil Basics card that I used was linen cardstock. So let's pop that there. And although, of course, I work for Crafter's Companion, my heart and soul is Crafter's Companion, I am still a crafter at the end of the day. So I still have a love for all of these other brands as well. So, left fold, what we're going to do is you get a little score line down the left hand side where you're going to fold it. So all that I do is chop that down, and then we've got our individual letter. So we're going to do that again. And then there's our D. And then we're going to do the same when it comes to the craft. So the main components of Crafter's Companion that I'm using, I will link. I don't always link every single item because I do try and work really hard and link UK, US and Europe, which does take a little bit of time. So I only do the main Crafter's Companion items that I use, and also same with Stix2. I will link what I use from Stix2, and I won't link Basil Basics because, as I say, I don't know now where in the UK we can get it. So I will let you do your research there if you're wanting to experience Basil Basics. But what I will do is I will link the crackers from QVC UK, all of which are stock dependent. So doing that drop shadow there when it comes to the D, so I've done the green at the top, craft at the back, and then I'm going to do the same with the M. If you are new, then you won't know. Adhesive wise, I use Stix2, and not because I don't love our Crafter's Companion adhesives. They are brilliant adhesives. However, my heart and soul and love and my adhesive geekiness all stems from Stix2, who are local. They're just through the outskirts of Newcastle and Gateshead. And many of you know the story. My first item I ever bought was Stix2. So I'm very lucky that Crafter's Companion still allow me to support Stix2. But then, of course, it is also because Sarah and Simon and Ruth and John from Stix2 are really close friends. So let's take the little holly. So if I take the little holly, and this time we're going to do it within that lighter green. So we're going to do that twice. We're going to add a little pearl to the centre. So you do get a little die that gives you three kind of like little circles joined together to make the berries. We will use that when we do the name placement, but for now what I'm doing is I'm going to add a gem or a pearl in the centre. So we've got those. I can leave that die out because we will need it again. So before we start to assemble all of this, let's take some pearls. Now, believe it or not, I'm not actually using ours. I'm going to use the Dreamies because I love their shade of red that they've got. For me, it's a perfect berry red shade. Now, we do have reds in ours, but the shade, if I bring them in there, just a little bit, for my liking, just a little bit too deep for a berry red. You can do, it still works, but because I have other shades, I'm going to use other shades. So let's pop a little bit of glue in there, and then I'm going to use my pickup tool. So let's just flip them over. Now I've gone in for like the medium sized pearl. You can do small if you want, but I've gone for medium. And then I'm doing that now because it just gives that time to set while we do the other bits. So let's go in with our adhesives here, and because of the size of the letters, the foam strips from Stix2, they work brilliantly. Of course we do have our own ones as well, exactly the same size and shape and width, and they come in our small foam pad bundle. But if you do want them individually, then of course you can grab them at Stix2, which I have linked a few times lately, but I'll link it again for this tutorial. So I'm just working my way around. So out of the two strip depths, because you've got two different widths, thinner and slightly thicker, what I'm doing is I'm using the slightly thicker one, and then I'm going to then snip that off there, and then snip that off there. So that now has given me my raised letter. So what I'm going to do is take the backing off just here. Let's just prise that one off, and then that one. You can, of course, if you want to, like anything, personal preference, leave them flat, but because they're going on a cracker, it's nice to actually raise them. And what's really good as well is you can keep these afterwards, because what you'll see, so that the adhesive doesn't interfere with the planting and the growing aspect, I'll only use a tiny little bit of wet glue. So it's going to be really easy to prise them off, and then you can be using, you know, just as a little keepsake if you want. So I'm going to take that off, and then we can go in with our little hollies. I like to go depending on the letter. So if I bring in these here, zoom out a little bit. So depending on the space, so the J I've gone into the left hand side, the C into the right hand side, the P down at the bottom, and where I've got the D, which really isn't any space, I've just added it on to the side of the letter. That's what I'm going to do with both of these. So let's do a little bit of glue and a little bit of glue. I'm going to just pull those up slightly and pop them on. And because I am lifting the holly leaves up, I'm not going to pop it on a little foam pad. And then we've got our two letters that you can see here, which are going to work really well with our crackers. So that's where we've got these. And in actual fact, I'm going to take that off because I've just noticed the holly leaf, I've actually done the same colour as the letter. Now it wouldn't matter because who my mum has given these to aren't going to see our ones, and then therefore notice it's a different shade. But me personally, I notice and I want them to be the same. So because I used the tacky glue, I was able to peel it off quickly, and then I popped it to the side because I can use them again. So let's take both of these, and then we'll just repeat what we've done a minute ago. And it would look nice with a different shade of green, but as I said, because I have used the same shade within the other ones, I want to do exactly what I've done with the other ones. So let's move these out the way here, like so. So let's turn them around. Teeny dot of glue. I'm going to bring those back in again. Let's take, what have I done with my pickup tool? Here we go. So let's pop that on there and pop that on there. There we go, got them right shade this time. So let's do that again. Let's do dot of glue, and then although the pearl is still wet, let's just pop that on there, and then pop that on there. Got that where we want, and then that where we want. What I'm going to do as well is let me just press down. There we go. So we've got, and just lift it up a bit more. So there we go. We have got my matching letters. So they're all going to work well together. You can see, perfect match. So therefore, let's take our glue, and then when I say a little bit, I do just mean that's it. That's all that I'm going to do here. I always like to have the seam of the cracker to the back, and that tiny little bit of glue is more than enough. And in actual fact, what I'm going to do, let's take this one, and then let's pop that on there and press that in. So we've got our two crackers that we can see. Let's take what will be my one. Now of course, when my mum comes to pop a gift in there, she'll just have to untie that, pop in what she wants, and then she can then retie it. But just to show you here, so carefully prise that away. Now look, before I do any rubbing, look at that. There is no, you've got that little bit excess that's come off, which is fine. I expect that. There is no glue, there is no nothing that's then going to interfere with that planting aspect. So I can go back and do that again. Tiny little bit of glue. Let's pop that back so I know, because I'll leave these with my mum and John, that when they come to plant, there's not going to be any excess glue or that's going to be going into the ground. Of course, they'll still plant, they'll still grow, but still, you don't want to put into the ground what you don't have to, and you can avoid. So easily to peel that off, and then they can keep it as a little keepsake if they want to. But then there's a cracker. So there's that. So if I bring these two in here, you've got your initial cracker that we've just done, plus the other ones that I have already done for our family table. So let me bring these in here, and then there we go. Christmas crackers. Now of course these could be your smaller handmade Christmas cracker with your cracker die from Crafter's Companion. What I'll do is I'll link that as well in the description, just so that you've got it. Or this could be one of those cracker made sets that they're all blank, and then you just come along and of course add your detail. You can go to town or keep it very simple. It could be the full name, or do what I've done this year, and that is just gone in with the letter, the initial. Because usually in the past I have on the cracker done the full name, Craig, Paul, Denise, John. Although mum's I always put mum. I don't usually put Denise. I tend to put mum, I think. So yeah, so that's how you can do those crackers. So for those that wanted to see a tutorial on the cracker, that's what we've done. And then what you didn't ask for, but I'm going to do it anyway so that you've got kind of like a double tutorial in here, is these cute little name placements that we can see within that one here. It does tie in, of course, with the actual crackers. I'm just going to remind myself with the sizes that I used. Yep, got it. So use the cut and emboss ovals again, and I used, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I used the 6th and 7th from the centre. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So that was those that I used from the centre. So let's take the largest 2 here, and then we're going to do 2 of these. I think that will fit. We want 2 ovals because we want it to stand on its own. So let's get as close to the edge as we can. And same here, only because I'm going to run it through our mini. So let's take our mini here, and although this is the cut and emboss, I'm not going to emboss these ones. We're going to keep them just cut. And then what I'm also going to do is do that next size down. I'm going to do it in that same red tone as I used for the cracker. But what I will do is I will come along and I will emboss it with my ball tool afterwards. Let's snip that off there and run that one through. So you can tape it if you want. I don't, as you can see. I'll let it cut and do its thing. Take that excess away, slot it back in, and then let's just go round the outer edge. So do hold with my hand and then just travel. If you do go out the line or that, don't worry, because you won't actually see that line mark on the other side. All that you're going to see is the oval that you've embossed around that inner edge, which hopefully you can kind of just see that inner edge. I wonder if you see it better, that outer, and just kind of make out that outer edge. So that's what we've got from those 2. So we've got our 2 green ovals, which that one's going to go into the middle here. So what we need to do is let's take one of them, and then I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and I'm going to get that as, you know, as straight as possible, so to speak. And then I'm going to just maybe round about 1/2 inch. I'm going to score. So about 1/2 inch, I'm going to score. And then what I'm also going to do, straight as I can, or you can use the guillotine, just a tiny little bit I've just snipped off to make that flat on the bottom. I mean, that's how tiny it was. Just a teeny bit for that to sit flat. Don't need to do it with this one, only that back one. And then let's go on that little tab, and I've done 1/2 inch, but honestly it could be less if you wanted it to be, because we're not actually writing inside, it's just so it stands up on its own. So let's align that up, and then let's press that one down. So I'm just going to let that grab just for a few moments or two, just while I take a drink as well. And then what we can do is that red oval that we've done, let's bring in foam pads. So these are 3mm foam pads. So let's pop that on and then take that on. Line that one up. Pop that straight in. Now you can pop these flat if you want, or use your glue gel. I've only gone 3mm. I say only 3mm because the initial we're also going to raise onto foam pads. So that's given us our base now for our name placement. So let's take, I'm trying to think. Let's do it, because what you could also do is if you'd done just the top, not the back, use it as a tag. On the opposite side, maybe take one of the smaller, or you could write on that with dark pen, or take the smaller oval, die cut a white oval, stick it on the back. There's your tag. Punch a little hole. But for that one, let's take, I don't know, let's just take, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, let's just do C, because I could be here all day trying to decide on a letter. So we're going to go back to the green card that I'd taken from Basil Basics, and then we're going to go in with a bit of craft. So that's going to be that one. And then if we go back in with a piece of our Crafter's Companion green card that I've got, let's just chop a bit off there. For the berry die, I need that one. I'll show you all the dies in a moment, but what I also need is this is where I got it from. I thought I also need a lighter bit of red. And where did I get it? And this is from our 12 by 12 texture. It was scrap that I'd made a mistake the other day. So we've got two shades of red, both Crafter's Companion. We've got a green Crafter's Companion. We've got the Crafter's Companion. We've got this deeper green, which was the one from Basil Basics. So let's take our left fold alphabet, and then let's do the dark green and then the craft. So do what we've done before. Let's just cut, trim, and then what we'll then also do is then stick together, and then we will then mat and layer. So C, and then C. Let's run that one through. So as we take that one out here, open that one up, and let's just pop that there. Let's just trim that while we're here. Actually, I tell you what, let's stick it together as well. Doesn't take long for the glue to grab and dry, but may as well do it now and let that set while we're doing the other bits. So we're going to go C in the green over the craft. So let's do our drop shadow, lift, and then let's move that one in. Let's just move and wiggle and press, and then let's take our strips. So we're just going to then snip down and snip. So we're just going to end that. They don't have to be neat, and they don't even have to be the strips. If you've got your smaller pads or you've got your other shape ones that you want to then chop down, then you can do. But then there is the C, or whatever initial that you're going to do. Now I've popped it to the left hand side because we're going to fill this with our holly. So this is where we're going to come along now with the holly and the ivy sentiments. Now just so that you know, although I brought that in at the start, we don't need that. In case you get to the end, you're like, well, where did Craig use their normal over dyes? Didn't. I thought I needed it, but we didn't. So let's go in with, I'm just going to grab that one, I'm going to grab that one. And then these little two holly detail sprigs here, instead of using in the holly, I'm going to cut these separate within craft card. So let's pop that on there. And let's run that one through. Now, of course, what you could be doing, all of the bits I'm away to do now, you can do in a oneer. Just take them down to your card and then feed them through your Gemini Mini. But I am purposely just doing section by section to show you. So as well as those, I also need the two berries. And say the two, what I mean is you've got that one there, and then you've got that one that overlays on top. So bringing both of these shades in, so that lighter red I'm going to do with that outer dye, and then the detail red we'll do within that deeper red. We're then going to take the craft like so. That one there can get stuck down with these bits. I'm just going to take in my stencil tape or masking tape. Prefer that to any like low tack tape. And then we're going to go back with this one. Now I could of course use those ones because that's the green card that I'm going to use, the crafter's green card. However, I'm not using the berries or the pearl as a berry. I'm going to use the dye that also comes within the set. So let's take just a little bit. So there's that one. Now if we go back, you should have, oh, it's not this one. If we go in here, there's like a teeny dye. I know it's hard to see, but it's technically it actually looks like a mini Mickey Mouse's head, but it's actually 3 berries together. And that one, that's going to go within the darker red. So I'm just going to then just pop that to the side because it'll fit on that little bit. And then that will be all of our die cuts done. So if we run that one through, so this is what I was referring to a moment. If you do what I've done here, tape them all down, including those ones, even one of the initials, you would have got them all done within your Gemini Mini folder. So let's run that one through. I'm going to put my Mini away because I don't need it now. He says, wait, you see, I'll come and forget something and have to bring it out. So there's my tiny little cluster of mini berries. So there's my 2 holly leaves, my mini berry. There is my holly, so I don't need that. There's my 3 silhouette essentially of the berries. There's the detail berry. There's that. There is that. I've got that out. And then let's take these 2 here. And then there we go. We've got all the bits that we need. So what I like to do is I just like to then just fold them inwards, and they don't have to be neat. In actual fact, the unneater they are, the better. But just very roughly. I mean, that's not direct all the way down the centre, it goes to the side slightly, which is absolutely fine. So let's take the actual berry, because you've got the little apertures in there. That's what gives it the appearance of depth and shade. That's why I would highly recommend that you use a different shade underneath. I tend to go dark on the top, and then the base is like a red shade, lighter shade. And then this could be completely different colour combinations. I mean, this could be all silvers and blue, and then instead of the holly leaves, you could be doing snowflakes if you wanted to. Or this could be golds and ivories, and then this could be great for anniversary table or a wedding table. So it's a good kind of platform to start with. So let's take the backs off, and then of course you can play with actual positioning of them. I'm going to stick with the left hand side, so let's press that in, and then I'm going to go with my good old original 5x5mm foam pads, and I'm going to pop that on the back. If you don't have the 5x5 or you're not a fan of the original, the OG small ones, then just chop the ones that you've got, or if you've got those foam pad strips, just chop them up. So I'm going to then press that down, so we've got that little holly there with the C. And then what we're also going to do is this time, it's not something you see me using a lot, but so I've got the wiggle room, I'm going to come in with my glue gel or my Stix2 silicone. You can be using our Collal glue gel. So let's take a bit off there. I'm just going to go around kind of roughly at the bottom, the base. We're going to do our next one, and again we're going to go just to the base here, and then we can wiggle it into positioning. I'm going to go take another bit. Now I'm going to keep these flat, but you could shape them if you want to. And then that one can go there. And then I'll always do the berries first. Then what I'll do is I'll tuck these in to the bit of silicone that's underneath the berry. You don't need to put extra silicone in here, just tuck them in, and then what's already there with the berries is going to hold it in, because we've got the glue gel, we've got that manoeuvrability, like so. And then there we go. You've still remember all glue gel, silicone, etc, etc. Press it so that you've got a little over bulge, and then twist it on, just making sure I press all that up. And then there we go. That is how I done our name placements. Now you could add a little bit more detail to the side there. You could do stitch mark if you want to, a few little pearls in there if you want to, more holly if you want to, but I've just kept it really, really simple. And then that will, of course, come along, he says. Let's turn that around there. And if you could imagine, just open that up slightly. The Christmas dinner table, of course, it's going to be the right way around for you guys. I know that camera doesn't have the greatest of shade, but there you go. You can imagine that at the Christmas dinner table, each person has their initials, and then if two people have got the same initial, you might want to do their first in their second name. So let's say there was someone else with a C, then you might want to do CL, Craig Laird. You might want to do that. Or, you know, whatever you want, even just write their full name. Or what about their initial, and then with your Gemini mini dies, or something that might be coming up in the early year of January, not saying, you might want to use little alphabets to finish it off. So the little Gemini mini alphabets might then be RAIG to then spell Craig. So there's lots of ways in which you can then, of course, play with them. And then did, of course, show you how you could do your crackers, decorate your crackers, personalise them with your alphabets as well. So I hope, for those that did want to see it, then I hope, of course, you enjoyed that. And I hope that's, even if you're not going to be doing anything like that, it might even just give you a little, you know, idea of, that could be on the front of a small little, I don't know, 4x6 card or 3x5 card, or it could be a tag if you want it to be, or you might want to change the colours, or instead of a letter, I don't know, it might be a number, or it might be a topper, or whatever it is. It's giving you a good kind of layout platform for then you to then either do exactly what I want to do. Of course, remember, anything that I do, more than welcome to replicate it exactly as I've done, or you might want to mix it up. It's entirely up to yourself. And if you do, of course, make anything that you see and you want to post it on social, you're more than welcome to tag me. Don't feel you have to, but if you want to do it, it would be great to see. Just, of course, Craig Laird CC, just pop them up. Be popping them up throughout the tutorial anyway. All of my socials are the same anyway, Craig Laird CC, whether, of course, it's Facebook, it's Instagram, or of course it's here on YouTube, or of course on TikTok. They're all Craig Laird CC. So there we go. There is your cracker, and there is your name placement when it comes to our products at Crafters Companion. And of course, sneaking in something from Basil Basics, as well as Stix2. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and then until the next time, we'll see you again soon right here on my Crafters Companion YouTube channel. Doodles!